If you can't manage even basic shit like there/there/there or starting people's names with capital letters, you shouldn't be allowed to work in an office. There are 0 scenarios where I should receive an email from a goddamned manager that reads, "Take a look at these, they're both for you." I have to go behind my 2 colleagues and clean up the work they fill into communal spreadsheets because I'd be embarrassed if other people thought I contributed such dreck. Just today my workmate had put the simple input Mr. and Mrs. Smith into a spreadsheet as, and I quote, "MRQANSMRS me," and then just moved on with his life with nary a care in the world. Like, what the fuck, people? PSA, everyone who comments humorously bad grammar replies to a thread complaining about bad grammar pulls their shirts all the way up to their chins when they pee. The number of managers I've seen who do not understand percentages is ridiculous. For example, the company approved a 7.5% raise for certain departments and instructed the department managers to conduct performance reviews to determine how much of a raise each of their personnel should receive. Should a guy get the full 7.5%, no raise at all? It was a pretty good idea in practice. Let the individual managers determine the value of their staffs. One department scored really, really low, though. People were getting less than 1% raises or no raises. TPTB were curious as to why this department was held in such low regard by their manager, so they called her upstairs to see what the problem was. She told them that 7.5% wasn't enough to give everyone the raise she wanted to give. She was breaking the 7.5% into smaller percentages and assigning those, thinking that when the total raises she gave added up to 7.5%, she was out of raise money. Even with a whiteboard, they could not make her understand that there was enough to give everyone a 7.5% raise. I'm not sure what they did to resolve it in the end, but her people got their raises. She was still managing that department last I heard. She's nice and otherwise competent at her job, she just doesn't comprehend percentages. Try reading through applications with spelling and grammar like they were texting their best friend. Immediately goes to the bottom of the pile. Talk about cringe. Apostrophes do not denote a plural. 95% of the emails I receive from people within the company has my name spelled incorrectly. Someone I've worked with for about 3 years now, still spells it wrong. It's literally in the to line. How do you not pay attention to that? It drives me bonkers. Woman, singular. Women, plural. Nary. Underused word. This probably has been said. But also the difference between lose and loose. And saying should have instead of should have, that's pretty irritating too. Bruh, I saw too many paid and I'm starting to question myself, is paid still the correct past tense or your English just advancing over time? I hate it when people write would have or should have. As in I should have listened in school. It's fucking would have / would have or should have / should have. The thing that really grinds my gears is peak / peak / peak. Peak means to arouse. As in, you piqued my interest. Peak means the top, particularly of a mountain, or to reach the highest point. The mountain's peak was glorious. Our stocks have peaked. Peek means to sneak a look. I peeked at the test answers. I mean, fuck, it's worse because no one talks about it. Nary a dreck was given that day. I'm not going to rage over it, but that kind of spelling mistake is unprofessional, especially when your colleagues, supervisors, or clients are going to see it. Proofread your work and create a cheat sheet with your / your, there, and other spelling errors you frequently make. I'm an old and I grew up in an era before the internet made it easy to look up a word. My grandmother would point her finger at the dictionary on the bookshelf when I'd ask her how to spell a word. We all have encyclopedias and dictionaries at our fingertips and we're not taking advantage of them. There's no shame in looking it up. Look it up if you're unsure. Be happy you don't have to haul a 5-pound book off a dusty shelf to find the answer. How people get then and then mixed up as a native English speaker is baffling to me. I need to check my text before posting anything on social media, including Reddit, I don't know if you guys do that because I'm not a native speaker, and I don't want the embarrassment of bad grammar. Another one, effect and affect. Effect is a noun. Example, what was the effect of the antihistamine on the patient, doctor? Affect is a verb. Example, to find out how this change affects the schedule we must ask the manufacturer for an estimate. I've worked with nurses who confused elevation with evaluation. Maddening. People like that are allowed to work in offices? I haven't used Microsoft stuff since high school and just ended up doing kitchen stuff. I already knew how and thought I'm not cut out for office work, but I guess not. This burns so deep. I could feel my blood temperature rise by at least 5 degrees just trying to get through your post. My deepest sympathies, friend. I review proposals, put together by people who make triple or more what I make, and they don't seem to comprehend the blinding power of Excel at summing things for you. They use a lot of corporate buzzwords in emails, but never actually say anything of value. Managers are just likable people who are too stupid to actually do the work. There're plenty of people that don't care about grammar, but they're useful here and there. My biggest annoyance is of in place of have. Should've, would've, could've, etc. Oh, and things along the lines of most happiest or more happier. Okay, but I work with some brilliant people who are gifted in technical work, engineers, but can't figure out how to string a sentence together. That's why they need people like me. Organizations need a diverse array of abilities and strengths. I can write well, but I can't engineer a hydroelectric dam. That doesn't mean I don't deserve to work there. No human being is good at absolutely everything. It takes all sorts, my friend. I hate that too. I'm super dyslexic, so I mess up my grammar constantly, but in business settings I at least run Grammarly over all of my stuff. Or let someone proofread. How can you just send a professional message with shit grammar? Doesn't that ruin your career? Wait. Dreck is an actual English word. Man, I have pretty bad dyslexia and I spend so long ensuring I correct my mistakes caused by it. It's really annoying seeing people just be lazy. As an engineer, I couldn't exactly understand. I just turn on Grammarly and let autocorrect fix my problems. English is my second language and I see people mess up their theirs. /s.